1 week and 1 day after Johan Sebastián Guerrero was shot and killed by an ICE agent in Biddeford, the city council there met to discuss what comes next. The meeting began with a moment of silence for Johan Sebastián, something Mayor Liam LaFountain said isn't political, but because Guerrero was a member of the Biddeford community, just like anyone else. Mayor LaFountain says now they're looking for two things: justice and truth. The council took public comment for over an hour as residents expressed what it's like for something like this to happen in their own community.
What are you going to do for this community, not just immigrants, for this community, because this community is destabilized because an immigrant life has died.
When our taxpayer dollars sponsor the murder of any one member of our community, nobody's rights are safe.
At the meeting's start, Mayor LaFountain signed a proclamation demanding justice and accountability for the fatal shooting and calling for humane immigration reform. And we're continuing to learn more about the ICE agent who officials say are responsible for Johan Sebastián's death. Last week, we spoke with the first ex-wife of David Brouillette. She and others have identified him as the ICE agent who shot and killed Johan Sebastián Durán Guerrero. Now we are hearing from his second ex-wife. Lucinda Brouillette told CENTER Maine in a statement that her relationship with David was one of a, quote, persistent pattern of abuse, intimidation, manipulation, fear, and control. Instances from their marriage are outlined in court documents. David and Lucinda filed for a total of 11 temporary protections from abuse in the Augusta District Court against one another. In those reports and in her recent statement, Lucinda describes David as violent and abusive. Sometimes that abuse was directed at his children, according to her written court testimonies. In her recent statement to CENTER Maine, following the killing of Guerrero in Biddeford, Lucinda wrote, quote, speculate about the incident itself. I was not there. I do not know exactly what happened. What I can speak to is my own experience. If you were to ask me whether I believe David Brouillette is capable of this level of violence, my answer is unequivocally yes, end quote. We have tried reaching out to David Brouillette. His phone number on record has been disconnected, and past attorneys have not gotten back to us to confirm if they are still representing him. Yesterday, we told you about the letter to the Department of Homeland Security spearheaded by Maine Senator Angus King. In it, a group of senators pressed DHS for answers about ICE agent vetting, training, and identification. Tina Smith, a Democratic senator from Minnesota, is one of the 38 senators who signed that letter. Today, she told CNN that it's been nearly 6 months since Alex Preddy was killed in the streets of Minneapolis by ICE agents, and it feels like there has been very little progress made.
I mean, listen, we know what's going on here. They were involved in a massive surge of hiring 10,000 agents. They were offering signing bonuses to recruit people in. Their concern was not being, held accountable for who these individuals were or where they were coming from. And it is tragic to think that this is the result.
Senator Smith said the senators who sent the letter to DHS have not received any response yet from the agency. Smith also mentioned a recent report from the New York Times alleging that the FBI will no longer investigate confrontations between ICE agents and civilians. Now, according to the Times, that guidance was shared with FBI managers and some ICE agents in recent days. The Justice Department and the Department of Homeland Security are disputing that report. In a joint statement, they said the relationship between DHS and the FBI, quote, has not changed, and that the FBI will continue investigating assault on federal officer cases under existing policy. The Times reports the issue comes amid the aftermath of the deadly ICE shooting in Biddeford, as well as in Texas. Today, we're hearing from the attorney representing the family of Johan Sebastián. Attorney Benjamin Gideon says he's now evaluating whether to file a civil lawsuit against the U.S. government on behalf of Guerrero's family. CENTER Maine's Alex Haskell sat down with Gideon today.
The conduct here by the government and the agent was not reasonable.
That's why attorney Benjamin Gideon says he's considering suing the U.S. government. He alleges the ICE agent who shot and killed Johan Guerrero was not qualified for the job.
The mental illness and instability and propensity for violence of the person the government chose to do this job was a significant contributing factor in what happened.
Gideon argues the agent's background wasn't overlooked. He claims it was the reason the agent was hired.
And they're putting people in these jobs that they understand have low moral character and are willing to bend rules and not adhere to the rule of law.
Gideon says surveillance video shows Guerrero did nothing wrong the morning he was shot, and the Department of Homeland Security's claim Guerrero weaponized his vehicle toward law enforcement is a lie.
There's zero evidence of that.
A devoted father to their 3-year-old daughter, Dulce.
At the center of all this, Gideon says, is a young woman still grieving the loss of her partner. A few days after the shooting, Martha Alvarez publicly shared her grief through a translator.
My soul is broken. He was everything to me. He never let me worry about anything.
Gideon says Guerrero's death never should have happened.
He did nothing wrong. The government has already admitted he wasn't even the target of their operations that morning.
Alex Haskell reporting for us there. We've reached out to DHS and ICE about how the agent who shot Guerrero was vetted. We've not heard back. We told you last night about a cyber attack on Tidewater Telecom that caused customers from Bangor to Damariscotta and beyond to deal with internet and phone outages over the past couple of days. This morning, the company posted on its website that internet is back to near normal operations, but several customers told CENTER Maine that their phones weren't working and the internet is slower. One of those customers is the Camden Town office, which had to close yesterday because of the outage.
We're at the mercy of the internet, so as much as us making services electronically available to customers, when things go down, they go down, and then we're done for the time being. So.
Tidewater Telecom also posted this morning that they are continuing to monitor for any further issues. The family of a woman from Charleston who was killed in last Thursday's storm is sharing more details about who she was. Amy Lynn Tatlock died while driving in Corinth when a tree branch fell through the windshield of her car. Her 14-year-old daughter and 4-year-old granddaughter were also in the car. Both survived. Her 4 children, 3 grandchildren, and her husband all say she was warm, caring, loving, and supportive. They created a memorial where she died, remembering her for the brightness she brought to everyone around her.
She was just so light and amazing, and everywhere she went, someone was like, "Oh, I know her," and she was like, "Oh, hi."
She was just so beautiful, and the way she looked at people she loved was so beautiful, and I'll carry that with me forever.
A wake will be held for Tatlock on Thursday afternoon, which is open to friends and family.